Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Zoe Lyons and Marcus Brigstock, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. We start tonight with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Gary, which category would you like?
I would like home news, please, Dara.
OK, the category is home news, and the answer is 35 billion. What is the question?
Is it, how many times have people hit refresh on the NatWest website this week?
Is it, in fact, how much I told the NatWest call centre I have in my account at the moment?
Is it what is God's next significant birthday?
Is it how many days do we have left of the Olympic torch relay?
After how many years does a bottle of Sillet Bang become safe to handle?
Is it how many calories there are in a cheese and Eric Pickles sandwich?
Is it, in fact, if you borrow £1 off Wonga.com...
Is it, according to the Daily Mail, how many children does an average Somalian family have?
How many episodes have there been of the long-running drama Monsoon Poultry Holiday?
You've got to stop going on about that, Hugh. You've just got to buck up! Is it what number Dappy from N-Dubs is in Line to the Throne?
How much will I win if Warhorse wins the Derby?
Is it how many years older than her face does Madonna's neck look?
Is it how many extra tissues have been used worldwide since the publication of 50 Shades of Grey?
Is it very moving then? Is it?
Yeah.
Makes you cry, does it? I've not read it.
And let's move towards
I think I know the answer. Is it how many comedians have phoned their accountants this week?
Is this actually how much is our tax gap in the UK?
That's absolutely right. Thank you very much, Zoe Lyons. Well done. Very good. Yes. The question I was looking for was, how much money does the Treasury lose due to tax avoidance in a year? This comes in a week when a number of famous faces were linked to tax avoidance schemes. Prime Minister David Cameron was criticised for singling out comedian Jimmy Carr's behaviour as morally wrong, while remaining silent on other individuals' questionable tax arrangements. So, who wants to comment on this? Who wants to get onto their moral high horse?
The thing was, though, wasn't it? The viewing figures for 8 out of 10 Cats doubled last week.
Yes.
So I think it's only fair, as you as the host of Mock the Week, either you need to do some dodgy accountancy practices, or maybe just host a prostitute Nazi party, and we all expect an invite.
Right, can I do plan B?
I've got a brilliant tax avoidance scheme that I use personally. It's just earn sod all. That's how I...
This scheme, basically, the K2 scheme,
Yes.
was where they hide your money for a while and then give it you back at a later date.
Yes.
Now, there's a much easier way of doing that. Just bank with NatWest.
I feel sorry for Jersey, because they're now trying to shake off the sort of tax avoidance tag and get back to their traditional reputation as Nazi sympathisers.
And they all have really aggressive names. They're called K2,
K2.
and Peak Performance and Icebreaker. It is very difficult to tell tax avoidance schemes from protein shakes. But they do sound like something that will both save you money and build muscle mass. Do you know why I feel really bad for this? Do you know who I think is a real...
Is it the children?
No, not the children.
I know you care about the children. What the hell are you...
No, I don't not care about the children. Well, you know what I feel sorry? Do you know what I feel sorry for? Alan Carr. Alan Carr has probably in the last week fielded any number of questions from people who didn't quite know which one it was. Like Alan Carr is just about shaking off people going, how do I stop smoking? And now he's going to talk about tax avoidance.
The person I feel sorry for is the lady who's apparently got the @NatWest Twitter name, a lady called Natalie Westerman. The amount of abuse she's had this week.
None of us can claim complete cleanliness in terms of tax avoidance, particularly if you're self-employed anyway, because there were schemes that were picked up, film investment schemes, for example, that a lot of people had put money into. I myself, and I feel we just have to say this, I'm part of a film investment scheme. I put all my savings into the big budget production of Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think it's right. Well, you're involved as well. I mean, because I play the role of Morag the nurse. Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think we're going to make a lot of money back. It's me and
Does
you
that say,
are involved.
By Alfred Hitchcock.
It's nice to know where the budget for this show goes.
That's an Irish person thing.
I want to note, by the way, how well I look as a nurse. Surprisingly fitting. Big shoulders.
You've got a hint of the readers' wives about you.
If you turned up at my bed in a hospital, I'd discharge myself.
Listen, I have no surprise, no doubt. You'd discharge yourself. Why have Michael Gove and Nick Clegg clashed recently?
It's Gove, as in movement. It's pronounced Gove.
It's pronounced Gove.
Yeah, Michael Gove. Yeah.
Michael Gove?
Michael Gove, yeah.
Literally, you could say this and I would have to go with it because I have no idea.
But it's true. It's pronounced Gove.
OK, why have Michael Gove and Nicholas Clegg... Why have Michael Thing and...
Because Michael Gove announced a massive education reform proposal and didn't tell either David Cameron or Nick Clegg or anyone else, including his friends and family.
That's what it's about, isn't it? They're looking to sort of bring back O and A levels because they think that sort of GCSEs have been devalued by people getting too many good grades. And I don't think that is the issue. It's just that they moved the marking centre to Liverpool, so now it's all A.
Of the tuition fees, though, Nick Clegg talking anything about education is somewhat tricky, isn't it, for him? And obviously, you know, I feel that students will never, ever forgive him for his U-turn on tuition fees. So maybe he should just go the other way and actually have more of a go at students, because I think it could be a vote winner. You know, so maybe try and tax Lynx aftershave, tax super noodles, tax people with their pants showing. I think it could be on something.
So is it weird? Because I didn't come to that system. Is it like...
No, I think it shows. I think it shows.
Yeah, I did come to a system, thank you very much.
What system did you come through then?
I came to the Irish education system.
The Irish education system.
Where we don't tinker quite as much as you do with the system. Don't make that joke. Don't make that joke. Anyway,
it's been the same for years, the Irish education system, hasn't it? Because you're graded from Toorai A's down to Fiddledy D's.
We're all looking for the Chris Addison, the Dublin gig on the next tour.
No, but is it going over the O-levels? Was it some special magical time, the O-levels?
The O-levels?
Yes.
It was a magical time, but it was roughly the same time as I lost my virginity, that's why.
So is
that was a hell of a French oral.
Is calling for the O-levels the political equivalent of going, oh, I wish they put Top of the Pops back on? Is it like that?
Yeah,
like just
Spinsters on bikes. He basically wants the 80s back.
He wants everyone driving an Austin Allegro, because they were great, those cars.
Do I get the impression you lost your virginity in an Austin Allegro? Is that the...
He lost virginity to an Austin Allegro. That's...
My God, that exhaust pipe was hot.
I think... I lost mine to an Escort. Does that count?
At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Gary. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the Prince of Wales.
Right, here we go. Next pub, 5 down, 4 to go, 6 pints in each. Oh, what an enormous television. Put your hand right through. How do you do that? Is it 3D? It's very real. Look.
That's because we are real, you see. This is a serving hatch in a pub.
Yes, I knew that. Anyway, I tell you what, I'll have a pint of that, please.
That is a charity collecting tape.
Is it? I knew that. In that case, I'll have whatever's in the barrel. A pint of clunge plunger, please. A packet of porky scratchings. Unless you've got any biscuits, Dutchy originals, I don't have to pay for them, you see, because I own the company. Anyway, I was saying to these fellas here, I only drink warm bitter at the moment. Yes, well, you would if you spent 4 hours on a sodding royal barge. Yes, feel that. Still freezing. It's weeks ago. Freezing. Feel my hands. Yes. Oh, look, lovely. Here's a pint of bitter. I love bitter, don't you? It's almost as British as Will.i.am wants to be. Anyway, down the hatch. Get it down, you Zulu warrior. And that's... Oh, no, that's a bit off, I think. Yes, I tell you what, I think the old pipes need a bit of a clean. As they said to Prince Philip. I tell you what, here's a question. Are pints getting smaller, or is my hand getting bigger? Show me the way to go home. Can you show me the way to go home? To be honest, it could be almost anywhere, because I have an enormous number of homes. I tell you what, why don't you join us on the next stage of the pub crawl? I think it might be the Crown and the Sceptre. It's as close as I'm going to get to either of them.
Well done, Hugh. Well done, mate. OK, now we play a round called Shut Your Loophole. This game involves Gary, Zoe and Chris, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First subject is the internet. Who wants to come in on that? Zoe.
The internet. Love the internet. Actually, that actually reminds me, because got to keep an eye on the time. I'm bidding on something on eBay this evening. It's Greece. It's just me in Germany going head-to-head. Fingers crossed. Oh, God. I've actually got one of those Twitter trolls. I'm hit with the kids. I've got a Twitter troll. They're horrible things, though, these Twitter trolls, because they send you abuse online, and the thing I really hate about it is it's anonymous. That's what really annoys me. But just awful things. They say, "You're not funny, Zoe Lyons. Call yourself a comedian. Of all of my children, you're the least favourite." Junk mail as well, and people find it annoying, junk mail, but I think it's always worth going through. You know, you might miss a bargain. Only this week I went through my junk mail, and now I have cleverly consolidated all of my bank accounts into one Nigerian account. And I have a much bigger penis.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. Travel. Who wants to come in on that?
I'll do that.
Chris.
It's getting very expensive to travel abroad. I don't fly abroad anymore. You could go by EasyJet, but I don't fly EasyJet. I'm too scared to fly EasyJet. I'm sure they're perfectly safe. I'm sure that their pilots are second to none, best planes you could ask for. But imagine if you were on an EasyJet flight, and you did crash on a snowy mountain top. You all survived. Would you want to eat those people? I won't have a shepherd's pie from Asda. I'm not having some woman in cerise leggings. It's not happening. EasyJet is essentially a middle-class plot to keep BA to ourselves. That's what we've done. It's the same reason we're opening M&S Food on the motorway. That's so we've got somewhere to stop where we're not sat next to somebody going, "What's a cocking panini?" I know! Thank you. Waitrose on the motorway, right, which is... I was in Waitrose, and not on the motorway. I was in Waitrose near where I live, and there was a woman ahead of me in the basket queue. She had 2 items in her basket. She had a tin of Slim Fast and a pregnancy test kit. She was thinking, well, it's one or the other.
OK, that leaves us with Gary. Let's see what topic you have. Let's spin the wheel. And it's relationships.
Right, relationships. It's good to be here. Last time I was here, a girl asked me for sex. I had to disappoint her. We had sex. But I'm trying to learn to be a more sensitive lover. I got a DVD, How to Improve Your Foreplay Technique. It was really good. I had to fast forward through the boring bit at the beginning. Last night I had beef stew with dumplings. I shouldn't call her that, but she's a big girl. I went to see the stalactites at Cheddar Gorge, and our guide asked us not to try and crack one off, and she wasn't even that attractive. I still managed. It was very dark. This morning I went to a meeting of my premature ejaculators support group, but it turns out it's tomorrow. I think a few of the men started clapping before the end of that joke, by the way. My girlfriend's dog died. So to cheer her up, I got her an identical one. She was livid. What am I going to do with 2 dead dogs? A friend of mine had a penis extension. Now his house looks really stupid.
Very good. Can we get right around the points? Get it going, Dave! Well done. OK, so our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of the England football team, but what does PHFE stand for?
Is it everything that the England football team are no good at? Passing, headers, footwork, everything.
I think it needs to do with Rooney. I reckon it's Potato Head fancies elderly.
Or pretend hair forever.
Is it what Stephen Gerrard thinks is wrong with the team? Is it passing, heading, football,
I think it's proof that education needs reform. 2 of those men were asked to write GCSE.
Do you know that if you dial the number on their shorts, you get through to a helpline?
Ashley Cole is covering his ears as if trying to protect himself from some awful screech. So is it player hears from X?
Is it just simply players' heads found empty?
Is it an extract from Boris Johnson's commentary? Peasants, half-wits, fools, extra fights!
I'm going to move towards the correct answer.
Pregnant hooker frightens England.
Is it, as it sadly always is, penalty heartache for England?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Zoe, there you go. Yes, the answer I was looking for was penalty heartache for England. This is the news that after reaching the quarter-final stages of Euro 2012, England suffered penalty agony yet again as they crashed out of the tournament in a shootout against Italy, watched by a peak audience of 23 million people. Were you among them? Were you all watching it?
Yes, we weren't very good, were we? We couldn't hold the ball very well. And there was one moment, wasn't there, where the referee, there was an Italian injury, and so he had to stop the play, and then he gave the ball back to the English players, but explained to them that he wanted them to give it back to the Italians. And I was thinking, well, he didn't have to explain that. They were going to do that anyway.
Just let the game proceed as normal for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They'll get it.
I thought the whole game was very unfair. I mean, the Italians had a ball. Why didn't we have one?
We lost on penalties, didn't we? Right, which was very disappointing, and we went out. But, I mean, if you look on the bright side, really, all that's happened is we would have played Germany in the next round. So all that's happened, really, is we've lost on penalties 4 days earlier than we would have.
In many ways, you've got those 4 days back.
We've got those 4 days back.
I think that it was a very telling statistic, wasn't it? That England's most frequent passer was Ashley Cole, with 44 passes, including the last one, of course, to the Italian goalkeeper in the form of a penalty.
Who was England's second most frequent passer?
Would it have been Joe Hart, the goalkeeper?
Joe Hart, the goalkeeper. Who was playing a lot of excitement. I thought Joe Hart in the goal, though. God love him, he did his best.
He did a great job.
He did his little kind of bear thing before each penalty. He was like, I'm your little tiger. I'm your little tiger, and I'm going to scare you. Like, he's doing little mimes in the goal. Like, it was. I mean, it was like, he's more like an uncle with a 3-year-old. Oh, I'm a bear. I'm going to chase you.
You want to kick the ball now?
Who's got a good kick? Who's got a good kick? Oh, you go. Oh, you have a good kick. Yes.
My favourite quarter-final was, in fact, a Greece against Germany. Because I was hoping when the referee tossed the coin at the beginning, the Greek captain would nick it and piss off.
Seems to me, I'm a non-football fan. The penalty thing seems a very cruel and arbitrary way of sorting out, because they could do so many exciting things, like keep playing and every 2 minutes take a player off.
Yeah.
Once you're down to 5, introduce a lion. Do you know what I mean? Something just lively and fun. There'd be a definite ending then, and, you know, fewer players and stuff like that. Blindfold them, or, like pinball, 2-ball screwball. Every 2 minutes, put another ball on the pitch.
Multi-ball. People have suggested multi-ball in the past. I like zombie ball, where you introduce a zombie and the zombie bites people and they become zombies. Until eventually you've only a few players left, like whatever. Or
What
maybe...
happens if Rooney gets bitten, though? How would you know?
Wayne Rooney said that having an English manager made it easier to understand tactic talks.
Those are not the words he'd have used, though. Tactic talks. That would have... He'd have gone on that.
Yes, yeah. it was because Fabio Capello was the previous manager and didn't speak English particularly well. But Fabio Capello then went on to the radio interview when he heard this and said, every now and then when I tried to explain tactics, things didn't work out. You know what? Maybe it's because Rooney doesn't speak English. Wow. Saucer of milk for Fabio Capello.
I think there are consolations to this tournament being over, because now, at last, we don't have to hear politicians talking about it, which is my least favourite thing about international football tournaments. When politicians try to be a man of the people, it's excruciating. Much worse when it's Cameron, because he's so manifestly posh. Hearing him going, that's why I say, come on, England. I shall be wearing my second-best top hat and my lucky monocle all the way through Euro 2012. I love football. It's so rare you get to see working-class people running about without having to chase them yourself with a stick.
On the plus side, though, the England fans were well behaved, because there was a lot of talk, wasn't there, about the Polish and their abusive chanting and their hooliganism. And, of course, that's what we used to be the best in the world at that. One more thing that now the Poles do better than we do.
OK, on the pause with Marcus, Zoe and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to read on a health insurance form.
Would you describe the condition of your heart as A, very good, B, mediumly good, or C, boo!
Do you ever temporary blackouts?
Do objects in the middle distance appear to be coming to me, to you, to me, to you? You may be suffering from chuckle vision.
Are you suffering from, or have you ever had, an STD, you slag?
Are you the only black guy in a horror film?
Have you ever experienced a burning sensation when you pee? Were you drunk at the time and holding a cigarette at the same time?
Please describe your alcohol intake. Moderate, average, excessive, Glaswegian.
What's your blood type? You can do 50 words a minute, innit, bruv?
Buddhists, what was your last cause of death?
Do you suffer from dyslexia? If so, please put a bic in this tox.
Do you smoke? Can I have one?
Do you hear voices? No. Are you deaf? No. So you do hear voices? Yes. I'm sorry, you have lied.
Would you describe yourself as very fit, quite fit, or a bit of a minger?
Do you suffer from dizziness, double vision, or seizures? Then why did you take a penalty for England?
OK, the next topic is unlikely lines from a war movie.
Bad luck, Sir Winston. I'm afraid the Second World War's gone to penalties.
I'm going to go and rescue a horse that's trapped in the wire. You put the potatoes on.
We've located the battleship. It is in the squares B5, B6, B7, 8, 9.
I was sent upriver in Vietnam, tasked with killing a renegade colonel. That was one hell of a gap year.
I haven't seen a case of trench foot this bad since the Isle of Wight festival.
It is better to die on your feet than live on your knees. Anyway, enough about that Talisa video.
Well, if nothing else, this is going to make a lovely tapestry.
We're at 5,000 fathoms. Bing! The hull will never take it, Captain. Bing! And you going bing isn't helping either.
Louis, this could be the start of a beautiful friendship, but only if you dress up as a nurse and give me a discharge.
Sir, new intelligence has come in from the letters page of the Daily Mail, and it seems Herr Hitler has a point.
I can't stand the sound of the guns. Why did I move to Tottenham?
In the Marines, our motto is no one gets left behind. Private Cameron, where is your daughter?
We make an amphibious landing here. We scale the cliff, avoid the sweeper, bounce on the big balls, and I'll meet you in the wipeout zone.
Chaps, we're about to go over the top. I have a message for you from High Command. Simply says, war! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. War!
Don't put your stuff in that one. It's got a really catchy edge on it. I call it the Hurt Locker.
Medic! 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 I'll tell you what the problem is. I've been shot in my dick.
OK, and the boys there with Chris, Hugh and Gary. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Zoe Lyons and Marcus Brixton. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Mock the Week is back on Thursday at 10 for its 100th show. Drama next tonight on BBC Two. Catch up with the thrilling new police series Line of Duty. And then more comedy. Matt's ex-wife is making mischief in episodes at 11:40.
To the world.
welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Ava Vidal and Mark Watson, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Before we start tonight, I should just point out that this is our 100th show. Yes, hallelujah. Episode 1 went out back in June 2005. Here's a picture of how Andy and I look back then. I do look like an IRA political prisoner.
I look really like my own grandmother.
So, our congratulations, by the way, now thanks. Hugh's the only person who's been on all 100 shows along with myself. Well done to Hugh. Not bad, actually. We may have to work on our timing here slightly. Not bad, there we go. Andy's on 95, but he'll never make up that 5. And it was a different time, 2005. Different time.
You can't go back.
You can never go back.
If you watch Dave.
The pre-Twitter. Wow. What did people do? Did they just open the windows and go, ha, 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 LOL? Anyway, we start tonight, however, with our 100 show, with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teams, who is this and why is he in the news this week?
That is Bob Diamond.
That is Bob. Who's Bob Diamond?
He is the CEO of Barclays.
Yes, and why is he in the news this week?
Because he's resigned.
Why is he resigned?
Because he's been a bad boy. He's resigned because they've massaged an interest rate and manipulated a thing called LIBOR.
Yes. Which is what the Labour Party's called in the Midlands.
Yeah. But what I love was that their chairman resigned. His name is Marcus Agius. And you think, who's he? Commander of the Armies of the North? Is he? General of the Felix Legion? What's he doing? No wonder Barclays didn't know what was going on in Barclays. He was preparing for the conquest of Gaul.
I'm Marcus Viridius Aegeus, chairman of a dodgy bank, full guy for a fiscal scandal, and I will have my bonus in this life or the next.
Like a disgraced Roman emperor, should he be surrounded by people blowing this standing every time Marcus Agius walked into the room, people should be going.
This is one of those scandals where everybody's furious and nobody knows what they're furious about. Absolutely nobody understands. All we know is that Barclays have done something bloody awful and that man should go. What is it? I don't know. I don't like him and I think he should go. Who should? I'm not sure about that either, to be honest. I'm furious about the whole thing.
Particularly because what they did is they dabbled a thing called LIBOR, which is the London Interbank Offered Rate, and they managed to drive it down. How dare they drive down the interbank? Well, that meant your interest rates were lower in your mortgage. Conflicted now.
I found out my bank were fixing the loan rates. I went down there every single day and shouted at them, but then I consolidated all my anger into one monthly outburst.
I'm just wondering why everyone's so shocked about Barclays, because they've always been quite dodgy, haven't they? Like, they refused to boycott South Africa years ago. That's why I refuse to bank with them. You know, I'm overdrawn somewhere else.
That's one in their eye, isn't it?
that is why I also don't bank with Barclays. You know, I feel I did my bit. When I was little, I didn't eat South African apples. So, you know, I feel, you know, I've done my...
Yeah, you were mentioned by Mandela in the speech, weren't you?
Parsons got me through the hard years.
It was quite easy for me because I didn't like apples. If it had been South African sherbet dib-dabs, I think Mandela could still have been in prison.
Very good. You know, I'm with Barclays. I bank with Barclays. And not that I don't say that as a big advertising. I bank with Barclays because when I moved over here, I went to Lloyds because they were the first one I happened to walk past and try to open an account. But Lloyds don't accept Irish passports as a valid form of identification. Yeah, and I'm going, and I'm flicking through it going, look, China accepted this as a valid form. So all I want to do is give you money. And they're going, I don't know who you are. In other news, whose wife took him by surprise this week?
Not mine. Tom Cruise's wife.
How did she do that, Mark?
Well, she's asked him for a divorce.
Doesn't anyone else Chaps find this really sad that they're getting divorced?
Yes, it's a breakup of a marriage.
But if a fake marriage can't pretend to be happy, then what hope do the rest of us have?
I just hope that Tom now doesn't do anything stupid, because you know when you're vulnerable, when things go wrong with your relationship, you might end up joining a cult, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a shame for him, because he thought it was a marriage made in Lachmanar.
I found out that apparently he proposed to her standing on the top of the Eiffel Tower. Now, I know that he's paranoid about his height, but that seems...
I find Scientology, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I always find it I can't really take it seriously, because it sounds like the kind of word that your sort of uncle would use if he was talking to you about careers or something. He goes, so so you're doing maths, yes? Are you doing physics? Well, why don't you become a Scientologist? There's a career.
I it sounded like one of those made-up words that cosmetics companies use.
Yeah.
You know,
leading...
now Pantene Pro V with added Scientology.
The leading Scientologist said Merlin tests. Zenu, the god of space, who dropped the souls into the volcanoes, said it kept his skin lovely and smooth.
But do you know why? Do you know why it's treated as a religion? It's treated as a religion by the US for tax purposes. That's something Jimmy Carr could look into. Well, it's not, they don't exactly worship me, they just laugh a lot.
What happened was, though, wasn't it, when he first was announced his excitement about Katie Holmes, he went on the Oprah Winfrey show, didn't he? And he jumped up and down on her sofa. But even that was massively calculated, wasn't it? It's hardly a risk jumping up and down on Oprah's sofa. If it can take her weight, it can take the Oprah fan club into the...
I wasn't made thinking that Oprah had that much of a fun. Oh, yeah. No. You can say what you want about Tom, but don't go after Oprah.
It was the best reaction ever, though, wasn't it? It was...
Would you trust a man who'd been on 3 missions which he said were impossible?
OK, points there go to Chris Hugh Milton. Now we play a round called Wheel of Cruise, Marriage Impossible 3. This game involves Milton and Ava, so if you could both make your way over to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First subject is animals. Who wants to come in on that? Ava.
I'm not a massive animal lover. I recently I found out that I had a mouse in my flat. Don't look at me like that, I'm not dirty. So I called this guy from Rentokil, right? And he comes along, and there's something weird about this. They don't tell you anything that comforts you. So this guy goes to me, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to block all the holes in your flat. Because I don't know if you know this, but a mouse can collapse its vertebrae and squeeze through the hole the size of a pencil. And I was like, geez, if you have to collapse your vertebrae in order to get in somewhere, perhaps you just shouldn't be there. It's a bit extreme. So I was like, I will not stay in a house that has got mice in it. So I moved to my friend's house. But before I went, this guy tells me to leave my TV on because the mice might hear it and think that people are actually there. And then, as I was staying at my friend's house, it was like past midnight. I was on the sofa, I couldn't get to sleep, and I started getting really angry. And I thought, here I am in someone else's house, and that creature is back in my flat, probably sitting on the sofa watching Rastamouse. Right? But I did eventually get rid of them, and which was great. And I swear, because it was the worst thing that could happen to me, because I hate mice so much, I only ever wear makeup that's tested on animals.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is nationality.
If you're addicted to meths, you're either an alcoholic or a South African with a real love of numbers. I've got a friend who got caught shoplifting in Saudi Arabia. Fortunately, he'd stolen a prosthetic hand. Unfortunately, it was a second offence. So I'm in France and I saw this little old lady knitting in the town square. I said, voulez-vous crochet avec moi? I used to teach English in Germany. First day I taught them everything beginning with A, second day everything beginning with B. D-Day was a bit tricky. So I'm in a disco in Tehran. All these women dancing around a handbag singing Iranian Men, Hallelujah. Recently, I phoned up the spiritual leader of Tibet. He sent me a large goat with a long neck. Turns out I'd phoned Dalai Lama.
Thank you very much. Points there go to Milton. Thank you very much. You're welcome back. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Mark, which category would you like?
Sport.
Sport it is. The answer is 100. What is the question?
Is it how many metres behind Usain Bolt will any British sprinter finish?
Is it, if I've told you once, how many times have I told you?
Is it how many cocktail sticks do you have to glue to a mouse to make it into a hedgehog?
How many years of hurt we'll have to sing about if we ever re-release Three Lions?
Is it how many days of rain fell in June?
How many miles did the Proclaimers walk before they realised that girl was being a bit high maintenance?
Is it how many sugar babes have there been?
Is it what do 3 baby eagles look like when only one of them has hatched?
Is it after Jay-Z's girlfriend first heard the song where he refers to it as a bitch, how many problems did he then have?
Is it how many years is it since my grandfather launched the first motorised iceberg?
Is it...
What do you mean? Too soon, is it? Too soon?
That can't be off the menu now, for God's sake.
Did you not know Oprah Winfrey was on the Titanic?
That's what actually sank it.
Perfect storm of horror.
Is it what percentage of the Conservative Party think 50 Shades of Grey is about John Major?
It's about the Olympic budget, isn't it?
It is about the Olympic budget, yes, there was.
How many percent is the Olympic budget over budget?
Absolutely right, thank you very much. Hugh. Yes, the question I was looking for was, by what percentage is London 2012 expected to be over budget? This is news that the sports-related costs of the upcoming games are predicted to reach £8.4 billion, double the original estimate of £4.2 billion. A study by Oxford University found that the London Games is due to be the most over-budget Olympics since Atlanta '96 and the most expensive games ever.
It's quite alarming. After the Atlanta one, it had been so expensive they just sank the whole place underwater.
No one's surprised that it's gone over budget, though, are they? If you want to build something efficiently and cheaply, you don't want to do it in East London. Oh, that appears to be a lovely Olympic stadium you are building. What a shame if something were to happen to it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Your velodrome appears to have gone missing overnight.
Falling slur in East London. Every week, Sarah Beanie said, you haven't budgeted enough. And for people not paying attention, as Sarah was increasingly pregnant, not pregnant, pregnant, not pregnant, but always very clear on the budgeting issue.
What would Sarah Beanie do? That's exactly what you have to ask yourself. And she'd say, row back on the fixtures and fittings. Gold-plated medal.
8 lanes? Who needs 8 lanes?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy on the outside never wins, right?
Also, you don't need all those seats because hardly anyone could get a sodding ticket either. So
stop whining. It was a computer-driven lottery. There is no... You weren't singled out, Mark, and the computer did not go, Mark Watson, do not like. Exclude you from...
Something of a disingenuous joke, because I'm actually going to 3 events.
You were playing them like a violin there, weren't you?
Boxing,
what
take that. Boxing, which obviously is close to my heart.
Yeah. I got pretty sweet tickets. I'm going to the water polo round 2 matches. Oh yes. Thank you. Kazakhstan versus either Australia or Austria. I can't work out.
I would have thought Kazakhstan versus Australia in, what was it? Water polo?
Water polo.
I think it's fairly clear Australia are going to win that, don't you? There's not much point in going, really.
You don't know that water polo...
Kazakhstan...
You don't know. A Central Asian landlocked country versus people who live by the beach.
Yeah. The people who live by the beach don't use swimming pools as much as the people who are landlocked.
They do.
People who are landlocked don't have the beach. All they have is pools.
It's not that different. It doesn't need... Australia don't need someone to put a great white in before they'll feel at home.
There is no water in Kazakhstan.
How do you think the people of Kazakhstan... There's rain in Kazakhstan.
Oh, rain! Let us practice.
Don't be easy being Kazakhstan fan. Give me a K! Oh, please, not this.
Give me a Z or possibly a H after that. I'm not sure. I'm going to do this phonetically. Give me a K. Give me a Zach. Give me a Husta. Yeah. In other news, by the way, my favourite story during the week of the procession of the torch and the endless procession of the torch is Jill Mackinson-Sanders, who's the mayor of a town called Louth in Lincolnshire, who decided, as the torch was passing through her town, to dress up as one of the local products of the town of Louth of Lincolnshire. The town of Louth of Lincolnshire apparently is famous for its sausages. Here's how she tried to dress up to welcome the torch. She ran alongside the torch, as a giant penis down the street, screaming. It's not you. It does not look like me. Nothing.
Listen, it's got
like
face.
My arms do not start above my chin.
I love that.
No, let's
the 100th programme and the first time we've been heckled by the audience. You look like a penis sausage.
Penis sausage. Do you want to do it? You probably can do some clever directorial thing just to disprove the fact that I look, can be done. Lucy, just to scotch the rumours that I look anything like a 6-foot-tall penis sausage.
Is this why you weren't allowed to use the bank account because of your passport photos?
Just to scotch the rumour once and for all. This is not. I look nothing like the.
Oh, look there.
Nothing like that.
Hold your cards up.
Other way. Other hand.
Well, somebody's got a new Twitter avatar.
OK, the end of that round, the points go to Mark, Ava and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at Wimbledon.
Due to Mock the Week overrunning, footage from Centre Court has now been cancelled.
It's out again. Bigger shorts, that's what he needs.
Well, that is an incredibly strong backhand, but he did tell the ball boy he wanted the water ice cold.
Welcome to Centre Court. They've just closed the roof. It's a lot lower than we thought.
There appears to be a lot of grunting in this women's match. And if the man at the back doesn't stop it, we're going to have to ask him to leave.
So that rain delay, slightly longer than we were hoping. It's now mid-August.
So Venus and Serena, the old rivals, meet again, and it's the eternal question, which one would you do?
So, 1540, the last time someone British won here.
And it's the Russian favourite, Novak Djokovic, against the British number 3, absolutely Novak Djokovic.
Well, he's very lucky to get to love 40. I've only loved 5, and I had to pay 3 of them.
Of course, they start training tennis umpires at a very young age, and there they are, sitting in their high chairs, shouting, "Juice, juice."
And play's been interrupted as 2 players have walked onto the court saying they've got it booked from 4 and it's now 5 past.
And if we have a look at his follow-through, we can see he shouldn't have worn white shorts.
The doubles have proved great entertainment today. I've had 10 of them, and let me tell you, Sue Barker is looking absolutely gorgeous.
OK. The next topic is things you wouldn't hear on a consumer programme.
On Watchdog tonight, Anne Robinson has had a seizure, but you won't be able to tell.
Dear Watchdog, these sausages are inedible. I don't know what it is. They look like someone off the telly.
But the patio had been badly laid, and 3 weeks later, the body popped up again.
My loft has recently been converted. It is now Muslim and won't let me in unless I take my shoes off.
You can invest your money in a high-interest ISA, or you can blow the lot on cocaine. Come on, man, you used to be fun. What's wrong with you?
Tonight, we're investigating United Dairies, R. Whites and Cadbury's in a feature we're calling Milk Milk Lemonade, round the corner chocolates made.
Where are the best places to watch other people having sex? We'll find out tonight on Watchdogging.
The moral of the story, even if it is called Crazy Golf, don't have your willy out. Good night.
This secret camera we're using is really, really tiny, which is lucky because that rogue builder is about to shove it up my arse.
He paid for the house to be Pebble Dash, but the technique wasn't quite what he was expecting.
My doctor said I could have up to 20 units a week, but now I've eaten half my kitchen.
We tested this dishwasher against this dishwasher, and the Filipino was better.
Not only would the toilet not flush, but I am now banned from IKEA.
If it sounds too good to be true and it looks too good to be true, then it's magic.
OK, at the end of that round, the point goes to Chris, Hugh and Milton. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Allison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Alan Nadal and Mark Watson. Now that's it for this week, but as this is our 100th show, we're going to leave you with some of our favourite moments from the previous 99. We'll see you next week. I'm Dara Breen. Good night. There's just a small note from the desk that I get into my ear. Frankie, Hugh, if we could have stuff which we actually can broadcast.
Nobody mentioned that. I think that should be the anti-Speeding advert. It should be footage of Richard Hammond trying to remember his own wedding day. She was wearing black, or was it red? Am I married?
I don't even have like an oblique reference to him, let alone... There's a line in the sand, right? And you can't even see the line in the sand. You're actually...
We need an action replay of it. It was a lovely moment. I think you've...
I just remembered something.
But show them what you did. It was fantastic. You went, and then went like that, and you all were talking.
Did I really?
Yeah. You
I do that kind of thing the whole
great.
time. That's entirely me.
Do it again. Right.
Dear Jim, you say, you sad man, letter here from George, what says, please could you bring me an early day order paper? And the band was Shawaddy Waddy.
Do you think I look like Pierce Brosnan with a mouthful of sweets?
Yeah, I tell you who doesn't hate Connie Hart, Kay Dara.
She's a good girl.
Hang on.
Don't mess with the hook.
What does that mean? Do you fancy her?
He dresses up as I've seen him do it. He dresses up as I've seen him.
Kids TV kind of thing, and I quite like... she's getting dissed at the moment.
Then?
Yeah.
I'm just saying she's...
He loves her, he loves her.
No,
Look at him squirm.
Two largest financial institutions in America are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They're
But the thing
shorthand
is-
for the Federal National Mortgage Corporation and the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation.
When I read the headline Fannie Mae collapse, I thought Kerry Katona was pregnant again.
I used to farm cats, and let me tell you, their eggs don't taste nearly as chocolatey as they look.
Miss Fat Ankle 2006.
Hear the woman, she went, I put a curse on you, I put a curse. They're always giving it the curse. The minute it kicks off, I put a curse on you.
Oh, in that case, we'll leave it then. You stay where you like.
Right now, everybody watching this has got their remote control going, there's something wrong with the sound. No idea.
The way you three, particularly like that, they look like the evolution of man.
They could be walking like that. We'll have to turn that way.
The question everyone wants is, get your foot out, Adam. Yeah, got it. Adam, have you ever put beer in your foot and drunk out of it? Yes.
Thank you, Adam, for what could have descended into freak show territory, but you held it together with an enormous amount of dignity, as we basically said, show us the weird thing! Show us the weird thing now!
Your head is absolutely enormous. In fact, on a normal size head, that would be a full head of hair.
But the good thing is...
He's with a flu buddy that you got to pair up with somebody and they'll deliver the injection to you if needs be.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but if it was my mates, they'd just pop a bit of Viagra in or something like that. Yeah, you're going to die, have some donuts, have some fun. Fling it on yourself, see how many you can get.
Donuts? With
See how many you can
Viagra?
get.
What the hell are you doing, Howard?
So I'll be there, I'm nearly dying, and I'm flinging them gently on.
Ring donuts, not jam donuts.
Yeah, I'm not a
But where's he
beast.
putting them?
Like this. He's doing like that.
Why?
It's Howard I'm nearly dead, Frankie. Can I not have some fun?
Find a woman, leave the pastries alone!
It's not going to be worth it now, is it?
Dara O'Brien. We work, so he doesn't have to.
Everyone clap, it'll be amazing.
No.
Keep it rolling!
Read about the things that happen throughout the world. Don't believe in everything you see or hear. Read
welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Joe Caulfield and Carl Donnelly, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Prime Minister, the American President and the Chancellor of Germany. Well, what does CIDW stand for?
Is it in fact all they've achieved at the G20? Checked in, drank wine.
Is Merkel saying, Cameron, it's Denzel Washington?
She presumably is suggesting an answer to the crisis, isn't she? She's saying, call in Darth Vader.
Or she's saying, careful, I declare war.
Is it in fact Cameron interrupts Dirty Weekend?
Is it Cameron introduces drunk woman? Because she does look a bit.
She looks leery anyway.
I reckon it's Merkel's going to the vending machine to get some snacks, so she's checking the order. She's going, is it crunchy, ice cream, Diet Coke, what's it?
Is it David Cameron saying, children, damn, where?
Is it Angela Merkel saying, I've lived my life like a candle in the wind?
I've heard a lot of bad things about Men in Black 3, but it looks pretty good now they've cast Angela Lansbury in it.
Can I get the correct answer, please?
Is it Cameron issues dire warning?
That's very good. Well done. Thank you very much, Joe. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Cameron issues dire warning. This is the news out of the G20 summit in Mexico. David Cameron put the Eurozone crisis at the top of a list of 5 big threats that world leaders need to tackle to avoid a global financial meltdown. Are we scared of this disaster?
Yeah.
Did you see what the 5 threats were?
They were, in fact, the Eurozone crisis, sovereign debt, the challenges of growth and low competitiveness, protectionism, and failure to regulate the banking system. Now, you add those up, there are, in fact, 6 things there.
And he is going to tell that to the 23 countries of the G20.
It would be good if in the middle of the 5 things he'd thrown in like a genuine... The 5 things that we have to be worried are Eurozone debt, sovereign debt, low growth, that asteroid, failure to regulate the banks. I'm sorry, what was the last one? You mean low growth? That's not the one we meant. What was the one you said after low growth? Oh, the asteroid. We'll get to that. It would be great, by the way, if we did an episode of this show for people who don't really watch the news, and then we discussed the asteroid as if this was actually a news story.
I'm pretty sure that this show is for people who don't really watch the news.
How did the Greek elections go?
They went tremendously well. Yes. Yeah. People voted and they've got a new government.
They have a party that sounds lovely in Greece, the Golden Dawn Party.
It's a nice name, isn't it?
But they're actually the BNP of Greece.
Yeah.
But they sound lovely, like, oh, bowl of Golden Dawn in the morning. Oh, fascists.
Yeah. I got a DVD called Golden Dawn. It wasn't what I was expecting. I think the problem with these Mediterranean countries, isn't it, is that they have their main meal at 10 o'clock at night.
Right, OK.
Now, that means you go to bed later, you don't sleep as well, do you? You're tired for most of the day, you have to have a nap in the afternoon, and your economy gets knackered. Surely austerity rule 1 should be tea at 6 o'clock.
I think it has got out of hand, though. I was in a restaurant the other day and they were doing a special offer. If you buy a Greek salad and there's a German in the room, he has to pay for it.
What did the Greeks vote for? Do you know what they voted for?
It was a vote on, really, effectively, on whether they should stay within the Eurozone.
Essentially, yes.
I think we should stop calling it the Eurozone, because if we continue to call them the Eurozone, they can call us Poundland.
I've got mixed feelings about, Greece leaving the euro, because I actually discovered in my drawer that I have got quite a lot of drachma left. And I've counted it all up, and, depending on how things go, I think I might be able to buy a house. Or possibly the railways.
I always think Greek bailout sounds like something that they do at Eton after lights out. That's why it's so difficult for Cameron and Osborne to talk about it. I say, Cameron, what is it, Osborne? You don't fancy a quick Greek bailout, do you? You're insatiable, man. Come on, let's grease up. Let's go, let's go.
Where was the G20 taking place?
It was taking place in a place called Los Cabos in Mexico.
It doesn't have to be said like a villager from the Magnificent Seven. That would be funny if all of their speeches were done in that voice. We must have the villagers.
When the music stops, you die.
Is a luxury resort the right place to start talking about people's austerity? You know, if you're kind of going, there are 5 plants in the village.
Really?
A man arrives with a tray, with a large pink drink, with an umbrella in the middle. Not no. Mexican waiter going, senor. Behind you, a mariachi band going, Guantanamo. Go away, Nixnay on the Guantanamera gay.
What Cameron should do is get a great big black hat and the sleep mask he got on the plane, and he stand up in front of the G20 and said, "I will lead you out of economic austerity, for I am Borrow."
I love the G20, because when you get a bunch of national leaders in a room together, you realise that however hard you can fight against it, they are just a bunch of stereotypes. You've got Angela Merkel, a butch German woman who looks like a shot putter. You've got Francois Hollande, a Frenchman who left his wife for a younger model. You've got Cameron, a posh Etonian. You've got Putin, a KGB-trained psychopath. You've got Obama, a cool black dude. So the G20's been written by the writers of Allo Allo.
What did Labour leader Ed Miliband label David Cameron this week?
He labelled him a tainted leader.
He did.
Tainted Prime Minister, which was a very early song by Soft Cell.
Yes, he did. Because of what? Because of...
Well, because he's too close to the rich and powerful.
Yes, he is.
This is all based on the fact that he got a text from Rebecca Brooks saying that, they were all in it together. Yes, you can.
Yes, it was. The other part that was kind of creepy about it was a bit of the start, which was, let's discuss this over country supper too.
It sounds like a really horrible euphemism.
It does, yeah.
You can say to your mates, I went out last night, ended up back at a girl's place, she gave me a country supper.
I only went looking for a Greek bailout. It was impressive, I thought, as a technique. If you're going to go, the big thing that most of the politicians have done now is they have been forgetful at the Leveson inquiry, and they've gone, I'm afraid I can't recall that. Did that happen? I have no recollection of such a thing occurring. The genius of Cameron to establish himself as forgetful in the week of the Leveson inquiry by leaving his daughter behind in a pub. Genius. Absolutely. By the way, what has Ed Miliband admitted recently?
That he is related to David Miliband.
Yeah. Ending speculation.
Yeah. That he looks like Wallace. From Wallace and Gromit, which is why... Which is when he said of David Cameron, as part of the tainted Prime Minister speech, he said he doesn't live in the real world. You thought Ed doesn't. He lives with a plasticine dog.
Actually, I had a long conversation with Ed Miliband about whether he looked like Wallace or not. It would have been shorter, but about once every 12th of a second, an assistant had to move his arm just a little bit.
But he does. The Tories have been going on at him for ages about the fact that he looks like Wallace, but they've got absolutely no room to talk about this stuff. Cameron looks like Iggle Piggle. Michael Gove looks like Pob. Eric Pickles looks like a Sontaran from Doctor Who. Theresa May looks like Roy Hodgson in drag. Jeremy Hunt looks like Seb Coe with a wasting disease. And if you get Ian Duncan Smith and William Hague together, they look like Yoda's bollocks.
The points together, Chris, Hugh and Milton. Our next one is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features David Cameron and Barack Obama.
Hi, Barack Obama. Vote for me in November. Don't vote for Mitt. His name sounds like an oven glove. So, say, David, you like to shoot hoops? Yes, well, actually, I'm just fearfully posh. I like to shoot almost everything. Really, I've got an ex-police horse I can borrow. Yes, anyway, my name's David. I'm just chillaxing with Barack. Yeah. we've got a special relationship. Not in that way, of course. No, the Church of England would go mad. Now, you'll have to forget David. He's never been to a ball game before. He doesn't know the rules. Yep. Well, I like netball. In fact, I prefer football. Yes. And, hey, you! You better shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. That's what I say. Shut your mouth. I'm sorry if you better tell your limey friend to shut his mouth. I'm going to shut it for him. You can take that Beckham with him. Yeah. Okay, he says, would you shut the fuck up? Oh, he's serious, is he? I see. So, say, have you got one of these? This is a medal I got for killing Osama bin Laden with my bare hands. Yeah, I did that. I killed. Vote for me in November. I killed Osama with my bare hands. You want one? I got drawers full of this shit in the White House. Yeah, that's... So, Dave, you ever killed a man with your bare hands? Well, I've thought of killing Nick a couple of times. Seems the kindest thing to do, really. Put him out of his misery. God, it's hot in here. I'm as hot as a pasty with VAT on it. Now, tell me, hang on a minute. I'm almost certain that I had my daughter with me when I came in here.
Now we play a round called Happy Birthday, Paul McCartney. This game involved Joe, Milton and Carl. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest, OK? Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is retail. Can I have somebody to come in and talk on that? Joe Coffett.
Tesco's have announced that they are going to overhaul their shops by employing more staff, which is great because the self-scanning doesn't work, does it? It's just a row of angry people shouting at machines. Just going, but there's nothing in the bagging area. I've removed it from the bagging area. Do you know what's in the bagging area? A friggin' bag. What a surprise. And also, I have to say, though, sometimes a person isn't better, right? I was at Tesco's at the checkout with a person at the checkout, and just by mistake, instead of the Tesco Club card, I handed over my Sainsbury's Nectar card. The woman at the checkout in Tesco's, no word of a lie, she looked at the Sainsbury's card, she put it down, she then looked at her own badge. As if to go, maybe she's right, maybe I do work in Sainsbury's. So the shopping came to £3.76, so I gave her £5 and a penny and then stood back and watched her head explode. And another shop, Abercrombie & Fitch, they were famously sued in America because they had a policy of only employing young, very attractive people. I thought, do you think Argos has the exact opposite policy?
Thank you very much, Joe Coffett. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is health. Who wants to come in that? Carl.
Right. I suffer from recurring stomach problems, which sometimes lead me into quite embarrassing situations. One happened when, about 2 years ago, I went to see Alicia Keys live in concert at the O2 Arena. That's not the embarrassing bit. En route to meet friends to go to the show, I stopped off with my doctor to get a little checkup, and he said it was all fine, but he wanted a stool sample, so he gave me a little pot and said, do your sample, drop it in the morning. So I put it in my bag and then went to meet friends for a drink before the show. About half an hour passed, I felt movement. I thought, I better do it now, I've got to drop it in the morning. So I went to a pub toilet and I did my sample in a pot and put it back in my bag, went out, didn't tell my friends what I'd done, we just carried on drinking. About half an hour later, it's showtime. We went to the O2 Arena where I'd never been before to see Alicia Keys. And I reckon it was about 30 metres from the front of the queue where I found out about their compulsory bag search system. Have you ever tried to explain to a security guard why you're trying to smuggle a stool sample into an Alicia Keys concert? It's pretty tough. When he pulled it out, I've never heard more shock on a man's voice. He just sort of went, what is it? Like that. And I freaked out and said the first thing that came into my head, so I went, it's a pot of shit. Like that. Which he then repeated louder, right? He just sort of went, a pot of shit! And it went back down the queue like Chinese whispers. About sort of 20 people back, I think I heard somebody go, I think there's a guy with a bowl of chips at the front or something like that. So I'm just there, totally embarrassed, didn't know what to do. I'm almost crying. I explain my story. The guy gets his supervisor, who comes over, and this is a great response. I was honestly like, oh, I've got a bug, sorry. And he listens to all that and goes like this. He goes, all right, I believe you. You can keep it.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject is relatives.
The scariest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life was when I was very little. My dad said, I'm just going to pop upstairs. And he went upstairs and he popped. I didn't speak to my dad. Well, he was a bus driver. You're not allowed to. My brother, he's allergic to cheese, not the taste. Just if anyone says the word, he goes, boop. Doesn't happen very often, but we've got some weird family photos. My grandfather, he was a GI, and he was in the RAF. OK, he was a giraffe. During the war, when board games were illegal, he was put in prison for being a Yahtzee sympathiser. My uncle, he was a security guard at the O2 Arena.
Next round is called This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Carl, which category would you like?
Sports, please.
OK, grand. Sport it is. The answer is chickens, nurses and rain. What is the question?
Is it, what does Heston Blumenthal put in a trifle?
Is it name 3 things?
Is it what are the most used sound effects in the radio drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
There's been another monsoon for the chickens. Why are all the actors Scottish in Monsoon Poultry Hospital? Doctor, I think this chicken is drowning.
What were the 3 main things featured in the film Golden Dawn?
What 3 things have a higher IQ than the entire cast of The Only Way is Essex?
A little harsh on the nurses, that.
Is it all the things that my gran says are stealing her money when I go and visit her in the
care? Is it what additional 3 things did Churchill think we should fight them on? The chicken. You will fight them on the chicken. You will fight them on the nurses. And on the rain.
Is it what Greece are planning to use as currency when they leave the euro?
OK, what's the correct answer?
Name 3 things you won't find in a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it what are the opening stage directions in the television drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
Chickens, nurses, rain, a man walks through the fog.
What is the hospital I'm working in now, is it?
What was the name of Foghorn Leghorn's controversial early career porn film?
I'm sorry, I want to do more chicken hospital.
Clear back! We've lost him. We've lost him.
That's finishing off the chicken at the end of it.
Doctor, get me the beaster.
Could we please? We're just amusing ourselves now.
Yeah, it's the what 3 things are going to feature in the Olympic opening ceremony.
Thank you very much, Dennis. That's absolutely right. Very good. Yes, the question I was looking for is, what are some of the more unusual items which will feature in the London Olympic opening ceremony on the 27th of July? This is news that Artistic Director Danny Boyle has revealed some of his plans to transform the Olympic Stadium into the British countryside. The ceremony will include real farmyard animals, a cast of 10,000 volunteers, including a troop of NHS nurses, and just in case it doesn't rain on the night, there will be clouds suspended over the stadium which will produce rain.
See, that's interesting, as I didn't think that's why he was doing it. I thought he was doing it because he's a filmmaker and he was making a film version of Monsoon Poultry Hospital.
And everyone be going, but where are all the Scottish accents now? Doctor, this chicken seems to be ill. Clear bucket! Oh, it's going to be amazing. The real farmyard animals will feature in the set, which includes 70 sheep, 12 horses, 3 cows, 2 goats, 10 chickens, 10 ducks, 9 geese, 3 sheepdogs, a cat, a bird, a spider, a fly, and an old woman. And the major question is, will she die? Of course. She's dead, of course.
They're going to transform the Olympic Stadium for 27 million into the great British countryside. 27 million, all people really give a shit about are the fireworks. Spend 26.5 million on fireworks, give everybody a toffee apple, a giant bonfire with a ticket tout on top.
They're going to great lengths with this British countryside thing. They have hired actors who are going to depict a family having a picnic in the countryside. They're hiring another actor to dress up as a wasp who's not going to leave them alone. Finally, at the end, they light the flame. Well, I say flame, they're lighting a pyre of cattle that have died from foot and mouth.
But the whole idea is he's trying to make it the most sort of British thing. But I reckon the funniest thing you could do, the most British thing you could do is have it cancelled on the day and have an opening ceremony replacement service.
I don't trust any of the Olympic preparations. Because you heard what they're going to do as a security precaution. They're going to have a destroyer in the middle of the Thames. Yeah. How do they think Al-Qaeda are going to attack? Some sort of armada coming up the river, and then they across
won't
the stadium.
be expecting this, Muammar. They won't be ready for this.
The closing ceremony is just going to be Boris Johnson in overalls and wellies with a shotgun going, "Get off my land!"
Have you got tickets? Are you going?
No, I have not. I have disapproved of the whole thing. And I think most Londoners don't want it anyway. It's 2 things they hate most, exercise and tourists.
There's a huge investigation now. The IOC are investigating corruption.
Yes.
In touting. The IOC investigating corruption is like FIFA investigating corruption.
But they've always been corrupt. It's like my grandfather, he won the limbo dancing competition years ago in the Olympics, but they wouldn't give him a medal. They said he just came last in the high jump.
At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Milton. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone could make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at Euro 2012.
And there we see in the stands John Terry's wife. And with his arm around her, Rio Ferdinand.
Well, this French team has 3 strikers. Luckily, the other 8 have agreed to play.
Tonight's game is in the incredible city of Kiev. The outskirts are sort of crispy crumbly.
And Holland are 2 down. Yes, I've finished the crossword.
And the Greeks have reached the quarter-final. If only they'd had a massive bet on that.
Oh, that's a bad one. You can see the bone sticking right out. These Ukrainian meat pies really are awful.
And now over to Mark Lawrenson, who has something really interesting to say.
Well, I've never seen that on a pitch before. It seems the referee really is a wanker.
No, mate. This is row 6. Euro 2012.
Here in Ukraine, we launch campaign. Kick football out of racism.
And that is some incredible dribbling there from the Irish supporters. Sorry.
And things are about to turn ugly as we go back to the studio to Adrian Childs.
And it's Germany against Greece, the ultimate dilemma for the British royal family.
And that is quite simply some wonderful defending there from John Terry's legal team.
Well, the Russians and Ukrainians are going to settle this with a shootout. No penalties, just a shootout.
So, Germany are camped in the Polish half. Not for the first time.
And Rooney's trying to get round the keeper, but his keeper's not letting him out of his cage.
OK, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear on a political discussion show.
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, sir. No, you've had your say. Now shut the fuck up.
Round the table tonight, Eric Pickles. And round another table, 4 other politicians.
Sadomasochism is a perversion, but we will clamp down on it.
And tonight we'll be discussing Greece. First question, who'd win in a fight, Danny Zuko or Kaniki?
So, Nick Clegg, which of your 2 faces would you like to answer that question with?
Yes, I agree. Britain's performance in the second quarter has not been all we hoped for. But there is a reason for that. This is a tough job, and I am shit at it.
We will not let Abu Hamza off the hook.
Well, Mr. Dimbleby, my question is, if I were a beleaguered European economy, how would you stimulate my growth? And that goes to contestant number 3.
Of course, I understand that people are worried about schools and hospitals, but what you don't understand is I don't give a shit.
Is anyone else horny?
And now we're going to head over and see what the polls are telling us. Hello!
Are they Chinese now?
I think they're Chinese. Yeah, they are. All right.
Oh, it sounds like Polish, the way we say it here. Here in Poland.
Right, now let's go over to Wales and see what they're saying to us.
And so we have a question here for the Prime Minister from Nancy Cameron, aged 8. And it's, when are you going to pick me up, Daddy?
At the end of that round, the points go to Carl, Joe and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Joe Caulfield and Carl Donnelly. Thank you for watching. I'm Darren Breen. Good night.
Tomorrow night at 10 on BBC Two, the laughs are found in LA with episodes. While over on BBC Three now, the comedy's in prison as new series Dead Boss continues.
brand new series of Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Nathan Caton and Mickey Flanagan, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Greg Davis.
Welcome. This is good fun, isn't it?
We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, and the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel. But what does OBEC stand for?
Is it a list of people for whom Osborne writes his budgets? Is it oligarchs, billionaires, Etonians and conglomerates?
Is it in fact Old Berliner eats chin?
Is Merkel going, oh, bubblegum's extra chewy?
This is clearly opulent Bellend enjoys coffee.
Osborne bangs Euro cutie. Where are...
Is Merkel saying oberschichtige, berühmte englische Currywurst?
Let me just check the notes if that's correct. That's actually the correct answer.
Is it a Spanish comment on what's happening in their country? Is it, oh, blimey, is catastrophe?
Yeah, what was that? Can we move off the foreign voices? Okay, do we have a correct answer?
Yeah. Okay, yes. Merkel is saying offensichtliche, beschämende, egoistische Currywurst.
No, that's not the correct answer. Let me just, genuine, because let me give the correct answer so I can move on with my life.
Is it outraged Berlin?
No, it's not.
Merkel saying orangefarbige, bestechliche, ehrgeizige Currywurst.
Is it Osborne believes he is Elvis's child?
There is an answer to this. There is a correct answer.
How about a compromise? What if we give you the right answer, but in a German accent? Is it Osborne blames European crisis?
It is, of course. Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Osborne blames European crisis. This is the news that Chancellor George Osborne believes that the current crisis within the EU is killing off Britain's chances of an economic recovery. This comes in a week in which Europe agreed to a bailout of up to €100 billion for Spanish banks. Spain is now the fourth European country to be bailed out, following Portugal, Greece and Ireland.
They've given the Spanish banks €100 billion. I don't think you should be giving Spanish banks €100 billion, not given the number of British bank robbers currently living in Spain. That is a mistake, isn't it?
It's not going to arrive in one van.
A lot of it's going to a bank called Bankia, isn't there? It sounds like a bank from a children's programme, doesn't it?
It is difficult to take the economies of countries seriously where the word bank is written as banco. It is generally easier to think that they probably don't do it. Hey, Benvenidos, el banco! Banco.
This accent's all right, is it? Fine accent.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, Dara, you've been doing a ridiculous accent since the beginning of this series.
No, but Dara, it does help when you go on holiday there, though, doesn't it? Because, you know, even someone like me, I walk along and I go, supermercado. I reckon that's the supermarket. Banco, that'll be the bank. Bar. Got half a chance. You've been to Japan? Nothing. They give you nothing. You walk about, you don't know what you're doing. I was in the bank the other day, this is absolute truth, and a man had a shit on the floor. It was the most shocking thing I've ever seen in my life.
That is one hell of a deposit that he has made.
He probably normally does all of his banking on the internet, but he couldn't log on that
day. The Spanish haven't had any strings attached to their bailout, have they?
That was the big problem, yeah.
You know, because Spain, they're going, well, you know, how is it possible? We can't work any harder. We already wake up twice a day.
They don't. It's quite open-ended. Whereas the other previous ones, like the Irish one, for example, they want us to pay back.
The Greek.
The Greek one.
The Greeks are really angry. They're really angry. They're building a horse and everything.
What has Osborne hinted at, by the way, with regard to Europe?
He might be gay.
Osborne's hinted at...
No, he has not.
He said
that he's gay. I will say it again. Yes, I will say it again.
As he said, oddly enough, there is a link between...
I have to do it without him going, he might be gay. What has the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Osborne, recently hinted at that 8 out of 10 Britons apparently agree with?
He might be gay.
No.
There is, oddly enough, a link between pasties and failing banks, in the sense that when you open them up, you've no idea what you're going to find inside.
I do like how Osborne is using any tactic to blame everyone else and not himself. Like, he is technically like the white middle-class equivalent of the singer Shaggy, you know? It wasn't me, you know?
He threatened a referendum. He threatened a referendum. Literally threatened a referendum.
What happens, though, Dara, you seem to know about this, so... if we leave, right?
If you leave?
If, say we go, right, that's it, we don't want nothing to do with you anymore. We've tried with you people, but you don't know how to look after your money. You're all irresponsible, you spend all day long swimming about. You know.
Swimming about? You Europeans, you walk constantly just...
So how can you let people vote on something when they don't know what... They don't know what they're doing.
That's what happens at general elections.
Yeah.
I like the direction this show's taking.
Yeah. They don't give us the chance to vote on anything. We just voted a dog as the greatest talent in this country. We are not a responsible nation. We would vote in a pineapple with a face drawn on it because it looks funny.
The problems, though,
you mean like Boris Johnson, essentially? Handed over control of the world's 5th largest city to a guy with funny hair. Flubba lubba lubba. You keep doing the flubba lubba thing. We love that. We love when you do the flubba lubba thing.
They're saying that he's done so well, Boris Johnson, now that he's back as mayor, that he should become the next Prime Minister of Britain.
That's the thing.
But he was actually born in America, so he's eligible to become the next President of the United States of America, which would be my preference. Imagine that, the leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world, cut to a picture of a fat scarecrow on a bike. Fantastic, isn't it?
Very good. At the end of that round, the points go to Greg, you and Chris. Now we play a round called Angela Merkel's Comedy Bailout. This game involves Nathan, Chris and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched the Wheel of News, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers will step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... finance. Can I have somebody to go in and talk on that? Andy.
So, you can argue a lot of people have got too much money, couldn't you? I would personally argue anybody who ever bought the autobiography of the talking meerkat, Alexander Orlov, you have too much money. Anybody who's ever bought glow-in-the-dark loo roll, you have too much money. Anybody who's ever bought a cosy sofa blanket with sleeves called a slanket, you know who you are. Also, anybody who's ever bought an innocent smoothie. How expensive are they? £2.49 for a bottle the size of a specimen sample, and they have the cheek to call them innocent. Ladies and gentlemen, go to a supermarket, buy yourself a banana. It will cost you 20 pence. Take a big bite, go, You would have saved yourself £2.49.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is health. Who wants to come in on that?
Right, health. I actually don't have that good a relationship with my GP. For one reason and one reason only. Up until the age of 17, my GP had me on their records as a woman. But yeah, they had me on their records as Miss N. Caton. And then one day they sent me a letter in the post addressed to Miss N. Caton. Now, because I'm 17, I don't really pay attention to the detail. I open the letter, and the letter says, "Dear Miss N. Caton, your doctor surgery would like to invite you to attend a cervical screening next Monday at 9. Now, this is where I messed up. See, at 17, I knew what cervical was. That's obvious, right? But what I didn't know was that there's more than one meaning for the word screening. I thought screening was like, you know, you're screening a film. So, when it said we would like to invite you to attend a cervical screening, in my ignorant, naive 17-year-old brain, I honestly thought I was being invited to watch a movie about women's genitalia. Right? Now, I'm 17, I'm horny, I'm a virgin. Am I going to go? You're damn right I am. So next Monday morning, I go to my GP, I get to the reception, it's full of women, doesn't put me off. Right? Walk up to the receptionist, I go, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Nathan Caton, I'm here for the cervical screening." She looks up, sees me standing there with nachos, popcorn and pick and mix. Starts laughing in my face.
OK, that leaves you with Chris. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is relaxation.
We're obsessed in this country, obsessed with relaxation. Currently, Waitrose, in their Essential range, sell Waitrose Essential lavender-scented candle. Because we've all been there, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? There are no lavender candles in the house, darling. How am I to have a petal-strewn bath with my whale noise CD? Whale noise CDs. We are gullible bastards. We will buy anything so long as we've been told that it's relaxing. Whale noises? No. Are you relaxed? I've never been more at peace. I saw a CD once called Relax with Pure Scottish Moods. Relax with Pure Scottish Moods! Relax! Track 1, bit chippy. Track 2, slightly resentful in the country in the first place. Track 3, go, you bastards!
Very good, well done there. Point to Chris, congratulations. Our next round is called This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Nathan, which category would you like?
Home news, please.
OK, your category is home news. The answer is trains, toilets and celebrities. What is the question?
Is it, if you're going to make a sex tape on public transport, what 3 things do you need?
What 3 flavours come through when you're tasting English wine?
Is it, according to the coalition agreement, what 3 things do the Lib Dems have responsibility for?
Is it, name 3 things I've left my umbrella in?
Is it 3 things you're probably best off not to lick clean?
Is it, what is the name of Thomas the Tank Engine's no-holds-barred autobiography?
Is it what Peter Andre says when he's asked what his daily routine is?
Our trains, our toilets and our celebrities.
Is it what... Is it what...
Is it high-pitched but not Australian anymore?
Our trains, our toilets, our celebrities.
I went to voice coach to get rid of my Australian accent and I can't help thinking she's done something wrong.
I've been over in this country for a while, so I sometimes slip into both fucking accents. Our trains got them a 6-pack. I don't miss my jeans. And the answers the celebrities are making the money for the kids.
Does anyone have another answer?
What do we do better than Morocco?
OK, can we have correct answer?
I think I've got it.
Oh, it's not the build-up to the correct answer, but go on.
Is it name 3 things I've puked up on at the Edinburgh Festival?
I know the answer, Dara. I'll give you the real answer, Dara.
Will you give me the real answer?
What are the 3 main talking points on a saga holiday?
Is it 3 things that are full of shit?
I'm the Peter Andre thing. Where it makes the money for the children. That was the
Is it?
No.
What 3 things were most complained about at the Queen's Jubilee?
If you can do that in a proper voice.
OK. But 3 things were most What 3 things were most complained about at the Queen's Jubilee?
Very good. Thank you very much, Chris. That's very... Yes, the question I was looking for was what aspects of the Queen's Jubilee celebration drew criticism from the press? Although the weekend was largely considered a success, there were complaints that the train system was unable to cope with the vast crowds, raising concerns about next month's Olympics. The lack of toilets provided for revellers was also criticised, alongside the BBC's celebrity-heavy coverage of the event. Did you watch the various events?
The BBC's coverage was sort of criticised for looking less like a royal occasion and more like the One Show, but that is what the Queen calls it. It's the One Show!
It was an excuse for a bit of an ease-up, though, wasn't it? You know, it's one of those weekends where you get so munted Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you phone up work saying you can't come in Tuesday, forgetting that's a bank holiday as well.
You know, 9 months from now, I bet you anything, Flotilla will be the most popular girl's name.
They tried to pick on the people who had to do a lot of film. There was a woman in Tower Bridge interviewing the guy.
Or on it?
In the control room of Tower Bridge.
Oh, okay.
Just before the guy pressed the button to make the thing go whoop like that. And she said, "So, is it going to work?" And the guy looked at her in a kind of a, "Of course it's going to work." Stop trying to introduce a note of peril. And she tried to say, "Are you sure it's going to work?" Like suddenly it's an action movie. Oh Jesus, the bridge is stuck! Quick, I'm going to run down. And he's wedging things like, "Oh, she's coming, she's coming." As if there's a danger that the Queen's boat is going to come along, and then the Queen's running away. And all the thrones get pushed back towards the back of the boat. Ah! Shit to the back of the boat. Yes, it's going to work.
There were some good bits, though. My favourite bit was the concert, seeing Rolf Harris. If you saw him, he had on a white jacket, right? And it was funny because I was watching it with my brother, who's 16, and he doesn't know who Rolf Harris is. So he sees a white guy in white jacket, white hair, white beard, and glasses, and he goes, "Hey, yo, blood, why is the KFC Colonel at the concert?"
Was it not a bit strange that they built that really elaborate, beautiful rowboat called, what's it called, the Gloriana?
Gloriana, my mate built that.
For the Queen, and yet... Was it just me who thought it's a bit weird that she's not on it? Because the only person who was on it was Claire Balding, as far as... Essentially, there's thousands of foreign tourists who think that Claire Balding is the Queen. I saw the British Queen the other day. Looks like she can handle herself in a pub fight.
All the American actors already said happy birthday to her. Was that it was, you know?
Yeah.
Grace Jones, who had a hula hoop for the last 3 randomly walks out hula hooping, slave to the rhythm. That was the weirdest thing. I genuinely thought, am I the only one seeing this? Why? Slave to the rhythm.
It wasn't.
Who booked Grace Jones?
She wasn't hula hooping. She'd been imprisoned by the elders of Krypton.
No, you got to be very careful. I learned from Twitter, you got to be very careful. On the night of the concert, I had the temerity at one stage of going, because there was an Ireland football match on at the same time, and you know, Twitter's a global medium, and I was going, "Oh look, this is a score at the moment," like for loads of Irish people, and I had loads of people tweeting going, "Nobody cares!" #Jubilee. Like I walked onto the stage and going, "Yeah, Rob, put a sock in it. It's 0-0."
And in a year when we've had such a campaign against knife crime, who do we have Tom Jones going, "I felt the knife in my hand, and she laughed no more."
Why is the weather making headlines?
Because the weather outside is frightful, although the fire inside is delightful. there's no place to go.
Basically, they've had some problems with caravans, haven't they?
That is putting it mildly. They have had some problems with
The
caravans.
thing about caravans is you can actually move them, can't you?
It was quite tricky. Quite unexpected. None of these want a static. God, it was a static caravan park I felt particularly bad for. Hello, I'd like to complain about my static caravan. What seems to be the problem? Oh, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's not quite as static as that.
It's like George Osborne is somewhere going, if the VAT doesn't get you, the weather will.
That was in Wales, right?
That was in Wales.
Yeah, because I saw an interview online about they interviewed some woman who was on one of those trailer park things. They're having a honeymoon and it got destroyed. And she said, "Oh, it's a disaster. It's a disaster." And all I could think was, if you're married to a man who's taking you on a honeymoon to Wales to spend time in a caravan, it's already a bloody disaster.
Literally insult to injury being added there. If you're watching the show, just to cheer up. Sorry about that. I just wonder, is your hosepipe ban? Do people ring up going, hello, about this hosepipe ban? Am I still allowed to use it to tether myself to a rock so I don't get washed away by the flood? Does that break the rules of the hosepipe ban?
In Littlehampton,
yes.
Where did they put the flood victims? They put them in the local swimming baths overnight. I mean, that's just taking the piss, isn't it? It'd be like putting earthquake victims in a bouncy castle.
The person I blame for this is the guy who was interviewed 2 months ago when it was like there was 2 weeks of rain, and they said, "Well, surely the drought is over now." And they went, "Oh no, you need another 6 weeks of rain to do the drought." What we've got is happy now. Happy and the point go to Greg, Hugh, and Chris. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at an awards ceremony.
And the winner is Dara O'Brien.
And the award for Driver of the Year goes to David Cameron for his perfectly executed U-turns.
Welcome to the National Insincerity Awards. And can I say, what a pleasure it is to be here.
And Soap of the Year goes to Coronation Street.
Would you please welcome your host for the night, Dec.
And the award for Best Actress this evening goes to John Travolta's wife.
Father of the Year is David Cameron.
And predictably, for the 50th year running, the Rear of the Year has been won by the same man. Come on up, Chris. It's a Chris Rea joke.
And the award for Best Film, Kling Film.
Oh, that was all right, though, was it? Bullshit, Dara.
It's all politics, man.
This is the point in the Psychic Awards when we like to remember those we lost next year.
Well, they said it was ill-advised, but welcome to the first Witness Protection Scheme Award.
And the award for most cleavage on view goes to Eamon Holmes's arse.
Well, now our final category. Category C. There are 3 sex offenders nominated tonight.
And I'd just like to say to the wife at home, you better not be there when I get home, sister. Because I'm big time now.
And the best posthumously released rap record goes to Kim Yong for I Told You I Was Ill. Too late.
And to present Best Film in a Foreign Language, would you please welcome Nick Griffin.
And the winner of Rear of the Year goes to Chris Rea.
Okay. Our next topic is unlikely lines from a thriller.
What more evidence do you need that there is a mole? Look at the lawn.
Your wife's head in a box. You must be the most unlucky contestant ever on Deal or No Deal.
What colour wire do I have to cut? The lilac, the mauve, the salmon pink or the fuchsia?
I want to make you a vodka martini. You can't handle vermouth.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? She purred. Yes, it is a gun in my pocket, and I've just shot my cock off.
I'm telling you, there will be no attack. This is a side picked by Roy Hodgson.
So, Mr. Bond, we meet... Ah! Flipping cat!
I'm telling you, Captain, I work best alone! Or sometimes in a team! Basically, I'm saying I'm flexible.
So, Mr. Bond, we meet at last. Why didn't we have a Skype?
I would like to gently lift your horse's foot. You can't handle the hoof!
I had human liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti. But the entertainment was excellent and he was a lovely host. So I'm going to give Hannibal 7 out of 10.
Here's Johnny! Do you mind? I'm trying to have a shit in it.
This prostitute isn't dead, said the Norwegian detective. She's just pining for the fjords.
And as his eyes gradually became accustomed to the shadowy darkness, he realised he was not alone in that room. Who is it?
It's me, Peter!
Okay, the points go to Greg, Hugh and Chris. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Greg Davis. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Nathan Caton and Mickey Flanagan. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
The new BBC mobile homepage is available now. You can customise content to get straight to the things that interest you. Go to bbc.co.uk on your mobile and bookmark the site now.